Hi, I'm Kelly at Book and Paper Arts, and welcome to my studio. Today, instead of a tutorial, I am going to show you some of the new old stuff that has come into the studio. So a little bit of vintage paper, eye candy for the weekend. I have these black and white animal engravings from 1846. And I also have a boatload of handwritten pieces from the 19th century, which I'm going to show up close in just a mo. I'm going to turn the camera around and you can see it in glorious black and white detail. First, I want to say, though, that these will feature in my monthly newsletter, which is coming out this coming Sunday. The animal engravings are going to be available as free high-res scans. So those will just pop into your inbox and you can grab them, print them up, and use them in your own work or in your digital work. This piece is French. It's from 1851, a handwritten legal document, and I will be giving that away in the newsletter. So all you gotta do is be signed up for the newsletter by 6 a.m. That's GMT this Sunday, and you're in the hat. Also, if you have signed up at any time in the last 3 years, you're in the drawing, and you can check the newsletter and see if you won. Let's see. If you want to sign up, the link to do that is on my website, and you can find it in the text below this video. Please let me know if you don't see it, and I'll see if we can sort that out. The other thing is, please, if you get up Sunday and the newsletter is not in your inbox, please check your spam or junk mail. It's been going there way too much. In fact, sometimes I send myself a sample newsletter and it goes into my junk mail, and I sent it. Anyway, if it's not there, please check. Okay, let's go look at what's new in the studio. First, let's look at those engravings. These are from a book called Goldsmith's Animated Nature. And back in the day, it was very popular. It was a kind of a compendium and an animal encyclopedia. It was so popular that it was printed year after year for decades. And the later volumes have color illustrations, but this is 1846, and they didn't do that. So you can see that these pieces are heavily watermarked and foxed. And that's for two reasons. One is that this book was in my price range. If it had been pristine, it would have cost many hundreds of pounds, and that is not in my price range. So I did find this one in less than perfect condition. But two, these prints are 170 years old. To me, that's actually part of the story. And when I'm using them in an art journal or an altered book, I just think that adds something to the story itself. There you go. These are some handwritten French legal documents. Back in the day, you were not hired as a secretary because of how well you could type. You were hired as a secretary for your penmanship. And that's why these documents that are left, that come down to us, are just such a pleasure to see, handwriting-wise. You can see that the secretary would have taken a ruler and made pencil lines that go all the way across the blank page so that they can make it nice and straight and perfect. Look at these flourishes, will you? They were bold. It's so kind of outrageous. Flourishes and the signatures there. They also often have a little bit of marginalia and accounting. And they have stamps and embossing throughout. This is a marriage license. And this is a birth certificate, naissance. handwritten birth certificate. And finally, this is the piece from 1851 that I'll be giving away. I may have shown this in a video recently. I can't remember. And it's so charming that I'm going to show it anyway. It is a Welsh prayer book with, this is embossed leather on the cover here, and it has brass fittings. You can see here where it says prayers and hymns in Welsh. And it also has this brass lock. I love books with little locks on them. Inside, you can see it's prayers or perhaps psalms in Welsh. You can hear from my accent that I am not Welsh, but I have lived here 16 years, and I love finding beautiful old papers and things that belong to my adopted home. Finally, I have a boatload of legal documents that are in English. And they all came in a lot together, and I love them. This one, you know what? These are so big. They're huge. They're so big that my camera doesn't go back any farther, and I can't show you the whole thing. But it's like 13 by 16. It's big. This one is really interesting because, and I've not really seen this before, someone's written in this beautiful calligraphic handwriting, and then someone's gone through in pencil and proofread it and made tiny changes. They've crossed out R and penciled in were. They've crossed out whereas and penciled in reciting that, and so on and so on. So basically, it looks to me like somebody had to do this all over again. And that just leaves more for me. This is another one. Again, it's huge. These blue ones are really big. It's a beautiful writing. This one's kind of interesting because the front page has got that the copper plate. It's really just stunning. But every page after that, it's still very nice. But it's not that really amazing, perfect stuff, which makes me think that in this office they had someone that, you know, led with the really charismatic one, and then somebody who came along and did a pretty good job, but not as many flourishes. The best one in this lot was this one, this contract of indentures. It's got the flourishes, a couple of stamps up there. One says 10 shillings, one says 5 shillings. And they have these little scalloped edges. And I think that's so that you could open it without fraying and crumpling the back page. Kind of let you pick up there. And then, but look at the back. The back has more stamps. And a stamp like this. Dun, dun, and these wax seals. So this is from 1901, but the wax seals are still just really, really vibrant and pop. Now, I do not usually sell these individually. I do sell a lot of old paper, but doing these individually is just tricky. So they are, however, part of some vintage paper bundles, and I will put a link to that below this video if you're curious and you want to check that out. Otherwise, just admire. Please subscribe to my online newsletter, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I would be so grateful. If you want to leave a question or some feedback, I love to compare notes. Love to hear from you in the comments. Otherwise, until later, happy making.